Before we begin, if you enjoy stories where humanity surprises the galaxy, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, because out there in the stars, humans are often underestimated, until they prove everyone wrong. Now let's begin.
The gravity doubled. Most recruits collapsed instantly. The human blinked. That was the moment the Academy realized something was very wrong, because the gravity had just reached 3 times standard, and the human recruit was still stretching, calmly, like he was warming up for a morning jog. The drill instructor stared. 4 eyes narrowed. His crest flattened in confusion. "Recruit," his voice echoed through the chamber. "State your condition." The human looked up. "Condition? Yes. Physical distress level." The human tilted his head. "Oh, none, sir." The instructor slowly turned toward the observation window. Behind the glass, several alien scientists froze. One whispered, "Increase gravity again." The instructor hesitated, then nodded. The room trembled. Gravity rose. 4 times standard. Metal creaked. Alien recruits collapsed to their knees. One vomited instantly. Another screamed. The human? He scratched his neck. Then asked a question. "Sir, is the warm-up starting soon?" Silence filled the chamber. Complete silence. And somewhere behind the observation glass, a scientist whispered very softly, "What in the void is a human?" 3 hours earlier. Galactic Military Academy. Orbital Training Station Carthus. The Academy trained the strongest species in the Coalition. Warriors from 12 worlds. Species built for battle. Some had armor. Some had claws. Some could see through walls. Others could run for days without rest. And today, they were meeting humanity, the newest member of the Galactic Alliance. Most instructors were unimpressed. The files describe humans as small, soft, fragile, low muscle density, no natural weapons, no armor plating, just skin. One instructor summarized it perfectly. "Meet with opinions." Laughter filled the command deck. Commander Vrax tapped the console. A hologram appeared. A human male. Average height. Average build. Brown hair. Neutral expression. Commander Vrax snorted. "This is their soldier?" A scientist nodded. "Recruit Daniel Carter." Another officer laughed. "He looks like a civilian." Someone else added, "He looks edible." More laughter. Commander Vrax folded his arms. "Very well. Let's see how long the human lasts." The training hall was massive, 1 kilometer wide. Metal floors reinforced for high-gravity drills. Recruits stood in formation. Tall insectoid warriors, 4 armed reptilian fighters, massive stone-skinned giants, and at the end of the line, 1 human, Daniel Carter, hands behind his back, relaxed, looking around curiously. A reptilian recruit leaned over. "You look fragile." Daniel shrugged. "I hear that a lot." The reptilian smirked. "You will not survive the first drill." Daniel smiled. "We'll see." The doors slammed shut. The drill instructor marched forward. Instructor Grax, 2 meters tall, muscle layered over armor plates. His voice shook the room. "Welcome, recruits. Today you learn pain." A few recruits grinned. Others looked nervous. The instructor continued, "This academy breaks the weak and reforges the strong." He pressed a control panel. The floor hummed. Gravity increased, 2 times standard. Several recruits adjusted their stance. A few struggled slightly. Daniel shifted his weight, then stood normally. Instructor Grax walked the line, watching reactions. Then he stopped, right in front of Daniel. "You." Daniel looked up. "Yes, sir. Species, human." Grax leaned closer. "You appear small." Daniel nodded. "That's fair." Grax grinned. "You will fail quickly." Daniel shrugged again. "Maybe." Grax pressed another control. Gravity increased. 3 times standard. Several recruits groaned. One collapsed instantly. The reptilian recruit next to Daniel dropped to one knee, breathing hard. "Daniel?" "Still standing." Instructor Grax frowned. "You are not struggling." Daniel blinked. "Should I be?" The reptilian recruit gasped. "Gravity, crushing, lungs." Daniel looked surprised. "Oh." He thought for a moment. "Earth gravity is stronger than most worlds." The instructor's crest twitched. How strong? Daniel answered casually. About 1 standard unit. Grax stared. The scientist above whispered. Wait, another replied. Most species evolved at 0.6. Silence followed. One scientist slowly leaned forward. Oh. Push-ups. Instructor Grax barked. The recruits dropped to the floor, gravity still crushing the chamber. Several aliens could barely hold themselves up. Again, bodies struggled, muscles shook, claws scraped metal. One recruit collapsed after 3, another after 5. The reptilian next to Daniel managed 6, then fell flat. Daniel started moving, smooth, steady. 1, 2, 3. The instructor watched. 10, 20, 30. Still steady. The instructor walked closer. Recruit. Daniel paused. Yes, sir? How many can you perform? Daniel thought. I don't know. The instructor growled. Continue. Daniel resumed. 50, 80, 100. A scientist whispered. Is he accelerating? Another responded quietly. Yes. Daniel finished 150, then stood up. Done? Instructor Grax stared. You stopped? Daniel nodded. I figured that was enough. The instructor pressed another control. Gravity increased again. 4 times standard. Several recruits screamed. Daniel blinked, then adjusted his stance. Instructor Grax leaned closer. Continue. Daniel shrugged. Sure. Push-ups resumed. The observation room erupted. What? His muscle output increased. Impossible. His heart rate is barely elevated. Commander Vrax leaned forward. Increase gravity again. The floor groaned. 5 times standard gravity. Metal beams creaked. Half the recruits were already unconscious. Daniel stood up again, breathing calmly. Instructor Grax stepped back slowly. Recruit. Yes, sir. What are you? Daniel smiled slightly. Human. Behind the glass, scientists were panicking. His bone density. It's insane. Muscle fiber efficiency. Look at his oxygen consumption. Commander Vrax frowned. Explain. A scientist swallowed. Humans evolved on a death world. Silence. What does that mean? The scientist pulled up data. High gravity. Extreme climates. Predators everywhere. Commander Vrax leaned closer. And, the scientist whispered, they hunted by endurance. Another scientist added quietly. They chase prey. Until it dies. Instructor Grax crossed his arms. Combat simulation. Several recruits looked terrified. A holographic arena formed. Alien combat drones activated. Massive machines. 4 arms. Plasma blades. Instructor Grax gestured. Recruit Carter. Daniel stepped forward. You will fight the drone. The reptilian recruit whispered. You will die. Daniel shrugged. Probably. The drone activated. Its voice echoed. Target lopes. It locked. It lunged. Blades slicing through air. Daniel moved fast, much faster than anyone expected. He ducked, rolled, grabbed the drone's arm, and flipped the machine over his shoulder. The entire hull froze. The drone crashed into the floor. Metal dented. Daniel stepped back. Is that normal? No one answered. The drone stood again. Angry now. It charged. Daniel ran forward, not away, forward. He grabbed the drone's torso, lifted, and slammed it into the ground hard. The machine sparked, systems failed, combat drone offline, total time 7 seconds. Instructor Grax whispered, again. 3 drones activated. Daniel sighed. Okay. The fight lasted 20 seconds. When it ended, the drones were scrap metal. Commander Vrax spoke slowly. Shut down the simulation. But a scientist interrupted. Commander, you need to see this. A hologram appeared. Human evolutionary data. Running figures. Distance records. Pain tolerance studies. Commander Vrax read silently, then looked back at the arena. Daniel was stretching again. One scientist whispered. Humans ran animals to death. Another added. They fight through injuries that would kill most species. A third scientist said quietly. They do not stop. Commander Vrax turned to the instructor. What is the gravity level? Instructor Grax checked the console, then froze. 7. The chamber went silent. 7 times standard gravity. Daniel was jogging in place, Sir, Instructor Grax answered slowly. Yes, recruit? Are we done with warm-ups? The instructor stared, then looked up at the observation window. Commander Vrax spoke quietly. End the drill. Gravity returned to normal. Recruits collapsed everywhere. Medical teams rushed in. Daniel stretched his arms. That was fun. Instructor Grax approached slowly. You did not struggle. Daniel shrugged. I've had worse workouts. The reptilian recruit stared at him. You are a monster. Daniel laughed. Just human. The instructor looked toward the observation deck, then spoke clearly. Recruit Carter. Yes, sir. You will return tomorrow. Daniel nodded. For what? Instructor Grax answered quietly. You will teach the endurance class. Daniel blinked. Wait, what? Above them, Commander Vrax watched the human walk away. He spoke softly. Record this. The scientist nodded. For the Academy archives? Commander Vrax shook his head. For the War Council. Silence filled the room. One scientist asked carefully. Why? Commander Vrax looked back at the shattered combat drones, then at the gravity readout. 7 times standard. Still stable. He exhaled slowly. Because if humans are this strong in training, I do not want to face them in war. And somewhere in the galaxy, humanity had just gained a reputation. Not as the weakest species,
And that's the
but
story
as the
of
one
how
that never
human
stops.
changed what the galaxy believed was possible. If this story moved you, leave a like on the video and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you enjoy stories where humanity refuses to give up, subscribe for more HFY Sci-Fi stories. Because out there in the stars, humans are just getting started.